Hi, this is Tia, and you're watching WIM Speaks Live. Today we have an amazing guest for you. She's such a phenomenal woman. Her name is Obioma Martin. She is an author of a book, B.R.E.A.T.H.E, How to Live a Stress-Free Life. She's an entrepreneur and a mother. And we're going to talk to her about how does she balance work, life, and all things in between. Stay tuned. Obioma, welcome to WIM Speaks Live. How are you?
I'm fabulous, Queen. How are you?
Oh, I love that energy right away. Yes, dynamic. You got to give me your secrets. And any other woman watching who is a mother and an entrepreneur, how you deal with just the work-life balance, right? But before we get into that, let's talk a little bit more about who Obioma is. So just what is the best word that describes you?
Unstoppable.
Oh, love it.
Unstoppable. Fearless warrior, servant, and just a daughter of the Most High God. Yes.
Yes. That's so amazing. Yeah. So what is like a day in the life of Obioma like?
Listen, my grind is no joke. So I work all day long. And so I get up between 3:30, 4 a.m. every morning just to pray and meditate and get my mental correct so that I do not spaz out on my children along with spazzing out on everybody else that I have to interact with each and every day. And really that's how I balance my work life, being able to have that time in the morning while everyone else is still sleeping. I learned a few years ago that if I don't get up at least an hour, a minimum of an hour, and just be quiet and just meditate and kind of sit and okay, Lord, what do I need to do today? Right? What are my steps in just being really intentional about it and just being still? I can be, when I don't do that, a different person that is not nice. Very irritated and hostile and angry and the aggressive.
The exact opposite of what you are right now,
yes.
right?
Yes, and so that's why I tell everybody, like, prayer does me well. It really does, because the reality is I'm dealing with so much every day. And so, for example, I have 5 children, and a lot of people don't even understand. So my children are 6, 13, 17, 23, and 26.
Because you're taking care of everything.
So I have 4 companies.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, 4 companies. What are your companies?
And so I have I changed the name. I have OMAX Institute. So OMAX Institute focuses on training and development, where I go into schools and daycare centers and I help them with human resources. I help them with administration. I will go into a site and set it up for licensing, walk them through the whole process, and really mentor their staff in the classroom, outside of the classroom, so that they can stay in compliance with the state. So that's what OMAX Institute focuses on. So my long-term goal for that is to have my own college, which will be OMAX Institute, the Center for Leadership, Entrepreneurship, and Early Childhood Education. And so that's really important to me. That's what I teach. And so during the day, I teach child development classes. I am out with my students or with my clients doing site visits. So that's one. I have Obioma Martin LLC, which is my speaker platform. Right, and then I have Omart Women Supporting Women, which is my nonprofit. My nonprofit is where I can do my philanthropic work. This is where I help women who have an interest in being in business and staying in business. And I do that via networking and coaching and mentoring and, really just cultivating them and letting them know, like, you can do this, and connecting them to resources. And then my newest company is Amazing You Publishing, because I self-publish and I publish under my own company so that I don't have to break bread with nobody. Yes.
Right. So 4 companies,
yes.
A mother of 5.
Yes.
Why do you do what you do?
Why not, right? Why not? Because I feel like at this stage, when I read about other movers and shakers, and I'm reading about millennials and teenagers who are billionaires at 18 and 19, it's like I have no excuse. And what I'm never going to do is say, oh, I couldn't do this because I have my children, or I couldn't do this, because of that, or whatever. And so I developed this whole slogan about becoming unstoppable, because when I was working on my bachelor's, so I have 2 master's degrees, 5 kids, 2 masters.
4 businesses.
Yeah, 4 businesses.
A book. We'll talk about that later.
Right. So here's the thing, though. In 2009, I was hit by a tractor trailer. And they had to cut me out the car. My jaw was broke. And my mouth was wired shut for 10 weeks. And I was in my bachelor's degree program at that time. And I will never forget this thought of, if I don't get up, I'm not going to get up, And so it was during that time. And I mean, I was in pain. I was in therapy for a year. I was in physical therapy, and I had to see a therapist, because I'm on the passenger side. My ex-husband is driving. We're sitting on 495 on a Sunday on our way to church. This tractor trailer come up behind us. We're sitting, like traffic is back to back. It's raining. And couldn't stop. Faulty brakes. Boom. Right on the bridge. My children are in the back.
No.
Yes, but I was the one that suffered the most. Out of the ordeal. And so because I was the face of the business, I was the mouth of the business. My husband was the behind the scenes person. He did all of the administration, whatever, but he wasn't a teacher. I was the teacher. And I'll never forget, it was like, and I'm in my bachelor's program, and it's like, if I don't get up, I'm not going to get up. Like, if I don't make it happen, and I'll never forget this, I had my classes, and so I would make my husband come to the class with me and translate, because I couldn't talk. But that was the only income that we had coming in, and he didn't at that time have the education. Like the contract was on me, and this was the only income that we had.
Obioma, what do you think it is that's still, like, what do you think was inside of you that kept you going?
Listen, honestly, all I can say is that God just kept me. Like, that's all I can say, prayer. And because it was something on the inside of me that was just like, if you don't get up, you're not. You know what I mean? It was like, if you don't finish the course, if you don't stay on, because I was physically like a mess. I was physically a mess, and I was in pain. And I remember being in church and not being able to raise my hand because I was in so much pain physically, and not being able to move and praise the Lord. And I remember just like, oh my God, Lord, if you just heal me, if you just help me, because the pain medicine, and I didn't want to become addicted, to the pain medicine, but it wasn't working. The needles, the injections wasn't working, nothing wasn't working. And I just, remember earnestly, fervently praying and just really standing for God to heal me, because that medicine is a temporary fix. Right. It really is. And I'm telling you, I felt like if I didn't get up, I wasn't going to. You know what I mean? And it was like I had to make it happen. And at that time, I only had 4 children. And I was like, I got to make it happen for them. And so I have 1 girl and 3 boys. And it was like, I can't allow them. I think also, I didn't want my children to think like it was okay to give up. Like, life happens, and it has nothing to do with you being a good person or a bad person. Like, life happens, and it's your response to life. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And it was important for them to see me being relentless.
So how many companies did you have? Was it still the 4?
No. I only had one. In 2009. In 2009, I only had one. I actually had B.R.E.A.T.H.E Training and Development. That was a company that my husband and I did together for about 16 years. But recently divorced, and so that I had to start Omax Institute, and yeah.
Amazing. So, well, my question is do you look back? Is that point of like no return for you? Because I feel like from that accident birth, like 3 companies, a book, another child.
So here's the thing though, right? I was like 2009, I thought that I wouldn't be able to have children again because of the condition of my back. Like I didn't think, childbearing is something else. Mm-hmm. And that baby can mess you up and you could be paralyzed. And so I didn't think because of the condition of the fracture and the whatever misplaced with discs and all that kind of stuff that I would physically be able to like go through a whole pregnancy. But I wanted to have another child. And so he came in 2012. And that's a whole nother thing because so my 13-year-old, I had him 2004. So from 2004 to 2012, I didn't get pregnant. And I also went through this stage of like the woman in the Bible who had the issue of blood. I'm sorry, I'm being real graphic, but it's real. So I also dealt with like real illnesses, real sickness, like my body was going through changes and I was just like, what is going on? Right. And so for me, I've endured a lot, physically being sick in my body and then mentally being drained and feeling like I don't know who I am and feeling like wanting to give up and feeling like I just want to kill everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And is that where the empowerment circles came out of?
The empowerment circle saved my life. Mm-hmm. So in 2013, I started the empowerment circles. Well, actually, it was a ladies' night out, and it was for my birthday. And so March 25th, 2013 is when I had the first ladies' night out. And that was me showing up for me and being my own rescue. My daughter is 23. The only girl I have, she was transitioning to go to college. And I'm like, I got all these boys at home. And, my ex-husband, and things were just not good. And I remember having just really bad memories on my birthday because he would always leave or disappear or leave me stranded. It was just horrible. And I was like, I'm going to show up for me. Yeah. That was the whole thing around a ladies' night out. I'm not going to wait for somebody to celebrate me. I'm going to celebrate myself. I don't need him to have anything for me on my birthday. You do you, and I'm going to do me. And that saved my life. And so from that, all these women start coming to me. And mind you, I didn't do anything. That ladies' night out, literally 2 weeks prior to, I cold called, went through the yellow pages, all of these vendors and people. In 2 weeks, I had 20 vendors and over 100 women that I did not know show up. Because I had a building right on 3rd Street, right around the corner from here, which they done tore down and built townhomes. But, I had 28 square foot training facility, state of the art. So I had the space. So, I did that, and everybody's like, when is the next one? I was like, what next one? Like, that was for my birthday, right. And then, but they kept asking me. So then I did something in, I think, July, and then it just kind of evolved and morphed into every month thing. And then I closed my building in 2014. Then we was at a restaurant, and then we outgrew that. Then we was at the Embassy Suites for 2 years, and yeah, and so now it's a whole 3-day empowerment event. It's not even a little thing anymore. Yeah.
But I can feel that from you. I feel like I was there. At every empowerment circle, you're giving me so much life and energy right now. So let's talk about your book, Breathe. Let's talk about that. Right?
Sure.
Empowered to live a stress-free life. And honestly, just what recent news about Kate Spade. Yeah. And I feel like so many of us are overworked and overstressed, and sometimes we just need to breathe. Talk about your book.
Okay, so here's the thing with Breathe, and specifically being empowered to live a stress-free life, self-care. Mm-hmm. Self-care. That's how I am able to keep it going. And so Breathe was my journey. It is my journey. I live, breathe every day because the B stands for believe. And every single day I have to believe in myself. I have to believe that I'm capable to really run these businesses, create the income, and make it happen when things are falling apart. Because at the end of the day, all you have is your word. At the end of the day, all you have is your word. And so, every day I have to believe. Every day I have to release negative people, places, and things. Every single day that's really important to me, like not going to sleep and, allowing something to kind of just be on my heart or weighing on me, or even you said something to me that I didn't like. It's important for me at this stage in the game that we deal with it. It's important for me to say, you know what, I apologize, or you know what, we can agree to disagree. That's what the release is all about. It's important for me to embrace this new season because I'm now single, right? I'm now running all these businesses and taking care of my kids by myself. Where I was married for 18 years, I had to embrace that. That's not easy, right? I had to accept what God allowed in the midst of. I had to accept people who was acting shady, who I thought was in my corner. Then I needed to take action. I needed to heal, and then I needed to elevate. And when I elevated, I had to figure out how to stay there. Because once you get to the place, once you get to that thing that you acquire, you have to figure out how to stay there because it's not promised.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Obioma. I loved it. And you're going on a 12-city tour, correct? Yes. So what's your first city?
Alabama.
Awesome.
Yes.
Everyone, this is Obioma Martin. She is amazing. As you already heard, let me tell you, thank you. You're a phenomenal woman. Thank you so much for showing up. Yes. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you so much. For more information on Obioma, go to obiomamartin.com. You can also follow her on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Obioma Martin. This has been Tia Whitfield for B.R.E.A.T.H.E. Until next time, bye.